All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. That one is unto the apostles, the others, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love to the brothers out there doing this work into this sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And as you can see, the title of this lesson is going to be, I was listening to the book of Tobit. And I listened to the whole book today at work. Also, I listened to the book of Judith today at work, right? Two powerful books, man. I heard them in the GNT Bible. But I'll listen to the book of Tobit first this morning. And listen to that book. The first thing that stood out to me was Tobit's father, Tobias. Okay. I was saying it backwards. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, Tobias. You know what? Let me get it right. It's it would be accurate. Make sure I'm saying this correctly. All right, let me start real quick. Let me start real quick. Real quick. Let me just get it. Oh, want to be accurate. What I'm saying is, I'm fresh off work, so my mind. All right, so yeah, so Tobit, my bad, Tobit, Tobias was his son, but yeah, man, Tobit was he was committed to the Most High laws, okay, and even though his family and the tribe of Naphtali, where he was from, he said that they all went off and they were serving all kind of gods and doing wicked sacrifices that Jeroboam the king had set up when he was reigning, right? But Tobit said um, he stuck to the ways of the Most High. And he spoke about how he went up to Jerusalem every year, for the feast, and how he gave a tenth of what he had, just, keeping the commandments of the Lord, man. All right? Which is a beautiful example because we too, like Tobit, are surrounded by, wicked people, wicked family members, okay, who try to entice you to go do wickedness, um, bringing up old wicked stuff, like, bro, I don't care about that. We're trying to please the Most High, man, you know? But they don't understand that. A lot of, family we know, friends we know, they hell bent on wickedness, man. They hell bent on wickedness, okay? But guess what? Just because they don't know the Most High and they want to commit, all kind of abominable sins, don't mean that we got to do it, okay? We stick to the commandments of the Lord unto the best of our abilities, man. Even in captivity, right? As Tobit did. Because Tobit was taken captive, right? Under the Assyrian Empire. And he kept the ways of the Lord. He didn't eat no unclean food. Like, he didn't do nothing to offend the Lord's commandments, right? And then the other thing he was doing, he was feeding the poor, right? Helping out Jake. And then also, one thing that stood out to me was Tobit was going around burying the dead, okay? Dead Israelites who were just laid out in the streets, bro. Okay? They were laid out in the streets. And Tobit would bury them. And he got in trouble for doing that. you know, they would, so they wanted to catch him and, unalive him. So burying Jake, right? And he kept on doing that, you know, showing compassion unto his people, man. Jake was, in captivity for wickedness, but nevertheless, Tobit still was going around burying Jake, bro. And that was a, very powerful act of love and compassion, man, you know, because he could have just saw them Jakes out there dead and be like, man, the shit, so they were wicked anyway, right? But he showed compassion and, trying to give Jake a proper burial, bro. Because it's not good, to walk around dead bodies anyway, okay? Rotting flesh, decomposition, it's crazy. So for Tobit to do that, bro, that was a powerful thing, man, okay? To bury Jake, right? And then, as you get into the story, he was blinded, right, by some bird droppings, right? And according to the scripture, he lost his sight for 4 years, you know? And then what also stood out to me was when he gave instructions unto Tobias, his son, and how pretty much he told him don't forsake the Lord, told him don't, be messing with, prostitutes and, marrying strange women, but marry a woman of his kindred, pretty much a Israelite woman, right? Because that's what we're supposed to marry, Israelite women, not no, concubine or heathen, but there are certain situations in the scriptures, to where Jake had heathen women, they had, children by them, right? One that stick out is Ruth, you know, Boaz and Ruth. But the Lord set that up, okay? And yes, Ruth was a Moabite. You got the ISUBK teaching that Ruth was an Israelite. I mean, look, brother, come on, man. That's madness, okay? That's madness, man. She was a Moabite woman who pretty much, you know, she forsook them idols that she grew up on, and then she started to serve the Lord, okay? And there's an actual movie on YouTube, okay, that you can watch on the Book of Ruth, and it's a fine ass woman playing Ruth, okay? I'm talking about fine as hell. If, if you go watch that movie, okay, she was an actress from back in the day, you know. They said that she was the small head, I believe, but she was fine as hell, man. That played Ruth in that movie. If you go watch it, but we supposed to marry Israelite women, and that's how it's gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, we ain't marrying no concubines, right? No heathen, right? But anyway, he gave a good instruction to his son, man. To ultimately, man, fear the Lord and keep His commandments, and that's a mindset and influence that we got to put up on our children, our descendants. But dealing with the curses, man, every brother don't have access to their children like that. Is messed up, brother. The brother can't, um, you know, have control over his children for the most part in this kingdom, man. Some brothers get that luxury, of having a woman and having their children under their roof, to where they can instruct them in the ways of righteousness. And that's the biggest threat to the enemy right there, is you teaching your children about the fear of the Lord. That's something the enemy do not want, right? So Tobit gave that mindset to Tobias, man. Okay. And then we get to the part to where Tobit sent his son Tobias to go collect some money for him, right? And Tobit told him to go find someone to take this journey with him to Media, right? And that someone that Tobias took the journey with was the angel Raphael. Okay, the Most High sent the angel down, bro. Raphael, the angel. He came down, you know, and of course he disguised himself as a man, and he told Tobias that he was his kin people, right? He told him, hey, I'm your relative, from such and such. And then he told Tobit the same thing, and ultimately he wanted to trust him saying what he said, and so they took that journey, man. And on that journey, right, Tobias, he stopped by a river, right, with the angel, and a fish tried to swallow up Tobias, right? He grabbed him by the foot, try to, you know, pull him in the lake. And then the angel Raphael told him to catch that fish, right? And they caught the fish and they ate the fish, right? But before they ate the fish, the angel told him to get the gall and the heart, and he told him to get something else for medicine. Okay, so it's a certain fish out here, Ak. Well, with all the animals, bro, with the Most High creation, bro, Ak, it is so much information and knowledge like we don't have access to, bro. Okay, about nature, bro, and healing. Okay, we understand certain things about certain herbs, but bro, to be able to go to a lake and just point out a random fish and then say what that fish can do, right? And the benefits of this fish. So the angel Raphael told Tobias to get that fish and to get his heart and his gall, right? And then they ate the fish. And so the angel broke it down to Tobias saying, look, man, um, you can use, this heart and this gall to drive out a demon. And then he said the other stuff that he got, he can use it to help a blind person out, which was two situations, right? That was major in that account. It was a Tobit being blind, right, from the bird dung, and then um, a Rugel, I think it was his name. Yeah, a Rugel, I think. His daughter was possessed by a demon. Okay, and she tried to get married 7 times, and every time in the marriage chamber, the demon would kill the men. 7 men, right? So the angel gave him the antidote, so to speak, right? To use to first and foremost get that demon off the woman that Tobias was going to marry, but also have the medicine to heal his father's eyes, who was blind for 4 years. And so when they made it to Rugel, right, and the angel told her, "Hey, look, man, you're going to marry his daughter, this, that, and the third." And so they talked about that, and then they went into the marriage chamber, and then Tobias, he what did he do with that? With the heart and the gall, so he made a incense of it, pretty much like a smoke of it, and then that drove out that demon, right? That drove out that demon to where it didn't kill him as it did the other 7 men. right? But the father of Sarah, okay, that was her name, Rugel, he was sure that you know Tobit had died. I mean, excuse me, Tobias had died like the other 7 men. So he sent in a servant woman in there, and she was like, "Nah, he ain't dead." So then they praised the Lord, had the marriage festival, all that good stuff, bro, all that good stuff, right? And so, in the account, they came back home, Tobit mom and Tobias mom, and Tobit was happy to see him and whatnot. And then the angel Raphael, he revealed to them that he was an angel, right? And then another thing that stood out to me was how he said, the angel Raphael said that he pretty much gave an illusion unto Tobias that he was eating fish, but he said that he didn't eat nothing, right? But he gave an illusion that he was eating the food that Tobias, had cooked pretty much, right? Brother, let's go to show you how the angels, what I'm saying, have have power to give illusions. They have power to, restrain your eyes and have you seeing stuff that really is not there, but you think is there, bro. Pretty much they can bend reality. Okay. That is scary, bro. That is that's scary. But they have that power, right? But the angel revealed himself unto Tobias and Tobit, man, and he told him pretty much how when Tobit prayed and when Sarah prayed, that he was the one who took their prayers in the presence of the Lord, man. I was like, wow, wow. He said, I took your prayers to the Most High. I was like, damn. So the angels present our prayers to the Most High, bro. And then the Most High, he's the one who gives the okay on your prayers, right? Praying is the brother, praying is big, man. And that's something that I'm learning a lot, more and more that prayer is big. Bro, the angels took our prayers to the Lord, man. So praying is major, okay? That really stood out to me, bro. Like, whoa, man, like, wow. The angels present our prayers to the Most High, man. So hey, man, keep praying, man. We look, brother. We gotta pray, okay? Give him no rest till Jerusalem is the praise on the earth. But the book of Tobit got a lot in there, man. All right, but those are just some of the accounts that stood out to me. Also, he got the chance to live to see the downfall of Nineveh, right? He got a chance to see that, which was a prophesied to happen, right? And that account of Nineveh falling is that's a well documented historical account, okay? Well documented. So you people who say, that the Bible is fake, oh, it's fake, they're making up stuff. No, sir. No, sir. Those are real accounts, okay? Those are real accounts in the scriptures, and that account of Nineveh falling is in circuit history, okay? Go look it up, man. Go look up the men who took down Nineveh, right? Because it was two nations that pretty much joined together to take them down, all right? And you'll be surprised. Matter of fact, just read the scripture and Tobit, man, the last chapter. It tells you by name who those 2 men were, you know? So, but that I'll close out, bro. But I just wanted to say a few things on that Tobit, man. Very, very powerful book, There's so much that you can draw from it, man, through the spirit. So I close out with that prayer. Was edifying our praise. Yahweh Shem Shai B'Shem Chakodash. Shalom.